in one of the last videos I put out today or yesterday, you said that the feminine is naturally competitive. And when I question the word naturally, because are we going back, are you saying that even before the separation,
Hmm.
the feminine was starting to be
But
competitive?
your definition of competition is very different. You have to realize you're coming from an individuated understanding of competition.
All right, so before the separation, when we had a collective consciousness, the competition,
What have we said about it? Do you remember what we have said in describing the dynamics of the energetic, emotional dynamics, the understanding dynamics of the difference between the masculine and the feminine?
the dreamer versus the manifester,
The dreamer versus the manifester, but it was more than that. It was a dynamic of, what is a dynamic of dreaming? A dynamic of dreaming is a dynamic of growth. It's a dynamic of movement. It creates a friction because it moves you beyond the dynamic of the status quo and has you maybe just dreaming about something more. It's an expansion, it's a movement, just does the way that a baby understands things and moves things through experience, through increment, through the dynamic. But it can be very incremental, although it's very smooth energetically.
hmm
So if you can relate that dynamic, that's what we're talking about. That's the source of competition, but it would only move into that sort of competition after the separation with the belief that was developed that you're not
no,
enough
and
and
that
there's
there's
not
not enough.
enough.
So when you were saying naturally competitive, that kind of competition was the desire to have more, to dream more.
How can you not have that dynamic if you are having dynamics of growth? How do you grow without friction?
I think there is a place out there, but we're not there right
Oh, that
now.
was the question, wasn't it?
You've,
Nature does it. Nature grows without friction.
Oh
mm,
no, there's friction.
no, I think there's friction.
There's friction. There's friction.
I'm not the
Is
governor, so
sure there's the friction of being able. Let's take a plant. All right, the seed. It's self-contained to a certain extent, but once it pops and puts out root, it has to go into symbiosis with the ground, where it's drawing nutrients from the ground. That in itself is friction. Same thing as you eating, that's friction. You consuming nutrients. The plant, it's doing that, but it's also reaching for the air. It's developing that dynamic and it's synthesizing the above and the below into the dynamic. It's quite a little miracle, isn't it? So understand that, again, it's like you can make it more difficult. But you again, it's that the place where you are understanding it from individuation. You are understanding it from the having developed or in the process of developing an identity. And that the identity is that one of the divine being manifested in a physical body. But it's that whole dynamic of finding that spark of the divine that is eternal within you. Each of you. And in your remembrance of that, in your claiming of that, a whole expanded reality becomes available to
Which doesn't necessarily have to have friction.
you. why are you judging friction to be bad,
Oh, it's
to
because,
be negative? Why
well,
are you judging it that way?
yes, we've talked about the movement from negative friction into creating positive,
Oh,
which,
let's go. Let's really get into that, shall we? Let's talk about the fact that none of you really claim your shadow, except maybe the channel,
mm,
and it gets them in trouble all the time.
hmm
Well, and what we're here to say is that your shadow holds all your power. And so, you think you're supposed to be good and you're supposed to do it this way, you're supposed to do it that way. And because of that, that's going to allow you to, what shall Louise say, live a more spiritual life. But all that really does is bring up your shit a little more quickly because you're going after it rather than letting it come to you. If you would all just utilize patience, everything that you need to deal with in your life is going to come bubbling up at a certain point, and probably at a more appropriate point than when you try to force it.